So in line 1 here, we start with dum, meaning while, and then the subject is victor, which means a winner or a conqueror, something like that. And the main verb is considerat. So considerare means to consider or look at. So while the conqueror considers, and then the object is spatium, which usually means space, but I think in this case we could translate it as size or extent. And then you've got the genitive victi hostis. So hostis is genitive singular, meaning of the enemy, and victi is a PPP. So therefore, together they mean of the having been conquered enemy. So therefore the whole line means while the conqueror considers the size of his conquered enemy, suddenly, subito, a voice, vox, audita est, this is perfect passive, was heard. And it's audita est rather than auditus est because vox is feminine. So suddenly a voice was heard. And then the next phrase, or the next part of the meaning, is neque erat cognoscere promptum unde. So neque means and not, and erat means it was. So and it was not. Promptum here means easy. It was not easy to recognize, cognoscere, infinitive, from where. So unde means from where. Don't confuse that with unda, which is a noun meaning a wave. This is unde, which means from where. And it was not easy to recognize from where, i.e. from where the voice was coming, sed audita est, but it was heard. So remember that perfect passive audita est, it's formed from the PPP plus the present tense of sum. You can also form the pluperfect passive from the PPP plus the imperfect tense of sum. So audita erat would mean it had been heard, whereas audita est is it was heard. And then this is what the voice says. Quid agenore nater. So quid means what? Now natus is a PPP, or at least it's a past participle from nascor, meaning to be born. Nascor, nasci, natus sum. But natus on its own is not just the participle, it's often used as a noun, meaning a son. So natus is often a son, nata is often a daughter. And in this case, it takes ablative. So agenore is the ablative from agenor, third declension. And it's ablative because it literally means born from agenor. Nater agenore. And nater ends with an E because it's vocative. So, O son of Agenor, O person born from Agenor. And then quid often means what, but in this case, I think the idea is for what reason, i.e. why. So it's functioning like kur in this sentence. So why son of Agenor, or born from Agenor, and that's Cadmus who's being addressed here. So why are you spectas, why are you watching or looking at a serpent, serpentem, and the serpentem is described as peremptum, which here means having been killed. So why are you looking at the killed serpent? And then, this is a rather difficult phrase, et tu spectabere serpens. Now, spectabere is a poetic form. In prose, this would be spectaberis. So it's a future passive, second person singular. So it means you will be watched. So you will be watched, tu spectabere. And then serpens is nominative, so as a serpent. And et here, because it's the beginning of a sentence, we could translate it as, rather than and, we could translate it as also. So literally, you also will be watched or looked at as a serpent. In other words, you're going to turn into a serpent as well. And then ille diu pavidus. So remember, ille often in Ovid marks a change of subject. So now the change of subject is he, ille, i.e. Cadmus, rather than the voice. So he, diu pavidus, pale, pavidus, for a long time, diu. Pariter cum mente colorem perdiderat. Okay, now perdiderat is pluperfect, which you can see from the ending. So this is perdo perdere, to lose, and then the perfect tense is perdidi, and then that becomes perdideram, and so on in the pluperfect. And it means to lose. So he had lost. Then the object is colorem, color. Pariter cum mente, equally with his mind, or together with his mind. So pariter means equally, and then cum plus ablative meaning with. So in other words, he lost his color, so he lost the color from his cheeks, he'd gone pale, as well as losing his mind. In other words, he's dumbstruck, he doesn't know what to say, he's lost his ability to think and to process information. And then in line 6, the second part, gelido que comai terrore rigebat. So que means and comai is his hair. It's plural because obviously it's lots of hairs. His hair or hairs were rigebat. This verb rigere is literally to be stiff, like people use the phrase rigor mortis, which means the stiffness of death. That's when a corpse gets really rigid after death. So it means to be stiff, or in this case to perhaps stand on end, because it's hair. So his hair was standing on end with gelido terrore, with icy terror, with chill terror. And then ecce viri fautrix. So ecce means look or behold. And then fautrix means a supporter. And it's a feminine noun. There are lots of these Latin nouns ending in ix, which are feminine. So for example, a venator is a hunter, but a venatrix is a huntress, a woman who hunts. So in this case, a fautrix is a female supporter. So look or behold, ecce, the supporter of the man, viri is genitive here, superas de lapsa per auras. So de labor is to glide down. So having glided down or gliding down through per the superas auras, the upper breezes. So superus means high above, an aura is a breeze. And then we get her name, Pallas, which is the goddess Athena or Minerva for the Romans. So Pallas ad est is present, from ad sum. Motai que jubet supponere terrae vipereos dentes. So, and, that's que. She orders, jubet. And in English we could say she orders him. Latin just says she orders, or she gives the order. But the idea is she orders him, so we can imagine eum there. She orders him to supponere. Now, ponere is to put. And this is a compound verb from sub, meaning under, and ponere. So she orders him to put something under something else. And the object is vipereos dentes. So dentes are teeth, and vipereus is an adjective, vipereus, meaning of a snake, like snaky in English, or serpentine or something. So she orders him to put the snake's teeth, or the dragon's teeth, or the serpent's teeth, under the motai terrae. Now, motus, motum is a PPP from moveo, movere, to move. So literally this means of the having been moved earth, or to put the teeth under the having been moved earth. But I think here, because the earth has been moved, because it's earth that's been moved, I think we could translate motai as ploughed. So she orders him to put the dragon's teeth under the ploughed earth, or the having been ploughed earth, literally. And then we have this phrase, populi incrementa futuri, which is describing the teeth. Right, the teeth are the incrementa, the seeds, the beginnings, if you like, of a future people, futuri populi, of a future people. In other words, the teeth are going to grow into a new race of humans. And then in line 10, paret. Now that means he obeys. This is a distinction that's worth remembering. In Latin, paro parare is to prepare, but pareo parere, second conjugation, is to obey. So he obeys, and that's et. Then we have ut. Now ut, remember, plus subjunctive is either a purpose clause or a result clause, but ut plus indicative, which we have here with pater fecit, means as or when. So when he has pater fecit, he has laid open or opened a sulcum, a ditch, with the aratro having been presso. So this is an ablative absolute. So with the aratrum, which is a plough, having been presso, having been pressed down. So in other words, the plough has been pressed down and that has opened up a ditch. So when he has opened a ditch, having pressed down the plough, or with pressed plough, he spargit, he scatters. Humi means on the ground. He scatters on the ground the iussos dentes. So dentes are teeth, and iussos is a PPP that means having been ordered or having been commanded. So he scatters on the ground the having been commanded teeth, or the commanded teeth, or the teeth that he had been commanded to, or something like that. And they are described in between these commas as mortalia semina, which means literally mortal seeds, or seeds of men. So this word semina, this is the plural from semen seminis, which means seed. And that's where we get the biological word semen from. It's a Latin word, semen seminis. And mortalia means mortal or of mortal people. So the seeds of mortal people. Inde, that means then or next. It's the same as deinde. So next. Then in brackets, maius fide. Maius means greater or bigger. So maior in the masculine and feminine, maius in the neuter. And then fide is an ablative of comparison. It means than faith or trust or belief. So literally it means greater than belief. Beyond belief. Ovid is saying this is something so strange that you wouldn't believe it. So then, beyond belief, the glybi are sods of earth, sort of clumps of earth. They coipere moveri. Okay, they begin to move. So the verb coipi, coepi, means I begin. And it's what's called a defective verb in Latin because it doesn't have a present tense form. So it always appears in the perfect tense. So coipi is perfect tense, but it means I begin. So it has a present tense meaning. And the infinitive, because it's perfect, is not koipere, it's koipisse. It's a perfect infinitive form. What we have here, koipere, is the poetic form of koiperunt. So they begin. And then moveo is I move. Movere is to move. Moveri is the passive infinitive, to be moved. So the sods of earth begin to be moved. And then in the next line there, mox umeri pectusque. So mox means soon. Umeri are shoulders. Que means and pectus are breasts or chests. So soon, shoulders and breasts. And que, brachia. Brachia are arms. So, and arms, onerata, which means it's a PPP, having been burdened or weighed down. So burdened with talis, with spears. A talum is a spear or a javelin. So burdened with spears. And then the main verb is existunt, which means they emerge, they appear. So soon, shoulders and breasts and arms burdened with spears emerge. And, that's que, the clipeata seges. Now, a clipeus is a shield. And so clipeatus is an adjective that means carrying a shield or shield bearing. And so then, and the noun that adjective is describing is seges virorum. A seges is a crop, and virorum means of men. So the shield bearing crop of men crescit, grows.